Right, expect don't adjust your expect at our professors at all times, obey my instructions, watch your head. Any questions? Let's go to work.
I think it's going to be interesting, this, because there's some decent backstory to it. As mentioned, Coyle pulled out, Garrido took the fight, and he really went and got the fight. He knew that McKenna needed an opponent, and there was a little bit of chicanery from the Frenchman because he called Matchroom, told them that he'd spoken to McKenna and that he was fine with them fighting and it being at 144 pounds, and Matchroom said, great, okay, let's go ahead. He then immediately phoned McKenna and told him that Matchroom had spoken to him and that the fight had been set at 10 rounds and 144 pounds, and McKenna again was just pleased to get an opponent. So he's certainly a shrewd operator outside the ring, and there's a little bit of needle between these two as well, because I mentioned what happened at the weigh-in yesterday. The reason Garrido was dressed like that, and he had a t-shirt on coming into the ring, he's been supporting a young man called Jaden Edwards, who's been diagnosed with Batten syndrome, just 8 years old. So he's fighting out as hard as he can, and the very best wishes go out to him. And Garrido's been publicising it, and he wore that get-up at the weigh-in as a means of trying to cheer him up, and he didn't expect the reaction he got from Tyronne McKenna, because he had warned McKenna that he was going to do it. So there's a little bit of slightly bad blood between the pair of them, and McKenna looked quite revved up as he came to the centre of the ring there, Andy.
Certainly, by the way they're punching, they seem to be punching with a little bit more spite than usual, loading up a little bit more. And it seems like both guys really are eager for the finish here, or to inflict pain on each other. Interestingly enough, McKenna said to me in the dressing room that it's going to be a right hook that he's going to stop him with, so we'll see if that's the punch that lands.
Got that tight guard, Garrido, as he comes forward. He's giving away a lot in height to McKenna. Most fighters will in the super lightweight division. He is very tall for the weight, but he makes it easily enough, he told me. And with that in mind, then he should stay there. It should always be a bit of a struggle, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, you can see how he gives a lot of... Garrido gives a lot of opponents trouble, like even a lot of top-class guys trouble, because he's a bit of a nightmare to box. His hands are high, he's wild with his punches, and he'll club you, he'll tie you up, and he'll make it an ugly fight. I think he's a very hard guy to look good against. McKenna's handling him well here. He's moving around, leading the dance almost, landing his shots and then turning him when his back hits the ropes. That's not where McKenna needs to be at the moment, on the ropes. As soon as he lands and he gets in this position, he should be looking to spin off or tie up.
Garrido for the first time there, really, as you say, just got him backed up and was able to let go. Nice left hand there from Garrido. And
high
another
on
one
the temple, yeah.
From over the top, followed by that right, which just caught McKenna on the jaw, and tries to respond with the 1-2. Nice stiff-looking punches.
Oh, good punches.
And the left hand, the final left hand got through there, really digging his toes in and putting some spice into these.
Great response from McKenna there.
Bill coming up, lads. Bill coming. Right, stop boxing. Step away.
Good first round.
It was very entertaining first round, and both of them put quite a lot into that. It'll be interesting to see if they could sustain that for 10 rounds. You wouldn't have thought so, really, but this is a really, really competitive fight. Danny Vaughan in the corner there with McKenna, another fighter who signed up to MTK. So we have a look at some of this work from the first round.
Yeah, McKenna was landing. When it's at long range, it's McKenna's fight, and it's simple. He's the taller, longer man. But when he gets to here, the ropes, he gives Garrido a chance to land these shots. He should be looking to tie up, at least turn him if he can, and get out of these situations. These were the effective punches by Garrido. They were high on the tempo, wild winging, round clubhouse punches. So McKenna needs to try and avoid those situations. Keep it at long range. Use his legs if he has to, and tie the man up. It's not, it's an effective ploy in professional boxing. You can tie a man up, and it's not used enough. I know it has negative connotations, but it's a good ploy if you can use it in the correct way.
So into the second round, and McKenna just looking to try and establish that southpaw jab. He's had an interesting career. He started off in the USA, which is not that unusual for Irish fighters. Had one fight over in the New Jersey area and then came home because his partner was pregnant. Then went back, and he was in Philadelphia. He was being trained by Tim Witherspoon and learning his trade in the tough Philly gyms and said he learns an awful lot over there. During that spell, actually, he was a sparring partner for Matt Korobov. He was playing you for a bit, Andy, for that title fight you had against him, and off the back of that sparring, he told me he put 50 quid on you to win by knockout, so he owes you some money, I guess, really.
Yeah, all right, yeah. He owes me a few quid. But he's boxing well. I can understand him not wanting to move it too much by giving Garrido too much momentum, because he seems to be a guy who needs to build up a head of steam and kind of works off that. He's kind of holding his feet, McKenna, trying to disrupt and keep him. If he can keep Garrido at the end of his punches, that would be the most effective way to win the fight. And try to avoid, that's very good in defense, and just find a way to get out, because it's not going to be clean. When Garrido gets you against the ropes, he's so wild and unpredictable. It's not going to be clean. No clean defense will almost work. You just kind of have to find your way out when you get in that situation.
Looks for that big overhand a lot, doesn't he? Right hand, left hand, particularly as he can try and back you up to the ropes or into a corner. Just really lets it go with some velocity.
Coming into this fight, you know, McKenna was set to fight Tommy Coyle, which is a risky fight, but also has a huge reward. Now he finds himself in a situation where he's fighting Garrido, which is huge risk and very little reward, you know. So for him, it's a lose-lose kind of almost situation, because Garrido will make you look bad, but he's just going to have to bite down now and fight in this fight and try and edge out a win.
It's a nice left hand on the inside there from Garrido, and then a left from McKenna there, left cross. It was quite interesting, actually, when that fight fell through against Coyle. There was 2 weeks to go, and it's on a big bill. It's on Sky, and you'd have thought that the fighters in and around McKenna, not those above him, but those in and around him, would be absolutely mad for that, just to step up and take the chance, and nobody wanted it.
I can see why. He's tall, extremely tall for the weight, 6'1", and he has an abundance of talent. You can see that. He's a southpaw, and for a lot of people, that's just a no-go zone, you know? But not for somebody like Garrido, who just seems to love to fight.
Well, this is where Garrido wants it, just backing McKenna up. McKenna trying to move that upper body and then turn his man away from that neutral corner. Just copped one a right hand there as he did so, McKenna, but that's what you've been talking about, Andy, and he negotiated his way out of that situation fairly well.
Good trading there. And McKenna, I think, just edged that round with their trading at the end.
Well, it's been a good opening couple of rounds, a good entertaining first 2 rounds. Danny Vaughan, as I said, is training him now, and they kind of split their time between Spain, where MTK are based, of course, Liverpool and Scotland too. Danny Vaughan living up in Glasgow, and good, I think, for a fighter to get a bit of variety, really.
Yeah, and hopefully get some local sparring where he travels and see different gyms and go into different atmospheres. But for me in this fight, McKenna, he needs to keep the punches light when it's at distance and try to open up, prise Garrido open. And if he can, punch at the same time as Garrido. Because I can see Garrido's very adept at blocking and taking punches and sheltering. If he can land the punch at the same time as Garrido, I think he can be effective and maybe hurt Garrido.
Seconds out, round 3.
There's just a little dab of blood on the flannel there being used by Ian Johnson in the Tyronne McKenna corner. But
I think there's a little nick on the left eye, just above the left eye. Small nick. I might be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me from here.
No, I think you're right. There's just a little dab of Vaseline, isn't there, on the corner of that eye. Nothing serious. Nice left hand up the middle there from McKenna, and then used his feet nicely just to disappear across the ropes.
If he can keep the punches light, not load up, because when he loads up punches, that also takes a lot of energy, especially when you miss them. So if he can keep the punches light and then look to pick his moments, when Garrido plants his feet like now, and then land the punch and move off.
It's a nice combination just before that, where he stuck a couple to the body and then went upstairs with the left hand. It didn't really land all that clean, and then, as you say, he got out of there.
McKenna started this round well now. He's boxing well, and he's feinting also. That can be another thing that can buy him some time and can disrupt Garrido's momentum.
Body shots aren't having an effect on Garrido at the moment. Not a noticeable one anyway, but as we go down the stretch, that may not prove to be the case. You're chipping away with those. He's landing them solidly, McKenna, a lot of the time. That's where Garrido really needs to let his hands go, but he didn't. No knockdown. Once he gets him into that situation, Garrido, he's got to try and go to work, hasn't he?
Yeah. When he gets to these positions, he has to look to unload. But McKenna's doing a lot better now. He's not throwing in a panic. He's kind of waiting. He's kind of waiting for Garrido to punch first and then countering and moving off. You see, now he's the one. Garrido's the one that he's back to the rope. So McKenna's managing and handling the situation a lot better. You see, he's just waiting, just waiting. He's not panicking, and he's landing good punches. He's countering well in McKenna.
There's a right hand on the inside there, up the middle from Garrido in all of that. But as you said, the Irishman landed some good blows. He's putting plenty into these as well. The forearms taking a few of them from Garrido, who's not been discouraged too much yet, letting go with a right hand of his own. It's a good fight, this. It's a good fight to watch, and plenty being put into it by these two. McKenna's the more skilled technician, but we knew that.
Good left hand on the inside there, punching at the same time. And it has double the effect. When you land and your opponent's trying to punch at the same time, you take his power and use it against him. This fight could have been easily televised fight, and it could easily be for a title. You know, it's
Let go. Step away.
There's a lot of skill on show and a lot of heart and grit by both men.
Well, a couple of fights ago, Garrido did box for that WBO European and delivered a draw, so that's the kind of level he is capable of operating at. And I think you're right, if it had been for a title, no one would have complained.
Excellent round, an excellent finish to the round by McKenna. I think he's winning these rounds just on the finish, as well as his generalship throughout the round, but he's finishing them each one strong.
So in the Garrido corner here, as we have a look at some of that work from the previous round. Really nice left hand on the inside there from McKenna. He seems more comfortable now in this position, as you've been outlining.
Yeah, before he was almost panicking, you know, and throwing punches out of desperation when he got his back to the ropes. Now he's taking his time. He's seeing that, oh no, he knows Garrido has a threat. He doesn't need to, you know, rush things. He can just take his time when he gets his back to the ropes, see what Garrido's going to throw, and then look to counter that and turn him if he can.
Corners, 10 seconds.
But I would still like to see him use a bit of clinching and a lot more feinting too, McKenna. If he used feints, he could buy himself a lot more time.
Seconds out, round 4.
Garrido with that tight high guard just comes to the centre of the ring. McKenna using those feet, just stepping away to his right-hand side and throwing the right hand on the move, and a couple more times there.
If McKenna could do this, sustain this for 3 rounds, it would be an easy fight for him. But he seems to want to mix and doesn't seem to want to get and concede too much ground. I'll let Garrido build up a head of steam or momentum, so he seems to be holding his feet a little bit more.
Teamed his man nicely there, McKenna, didn't he? It's quite common with a lot of fighters, though, isn't it? When they do have the technical skills, they're often always still battling that natural inclination to want to stand and trade.
These guys are fighters, you know. It's all boxers, no matter how good a boxer you are, technically, you're still a fighter in your heart, and you still want to trade when someone challenges you as a man. Because that's what Garrido's doing here. He's challenging him, you know. He's walking forward. He's saying, I can take your punch, your best punch, and I'm going to give you my punch. And it's a challenge and it's a test for McKenna, but so far he's passing it. And he's standing when he has to, like now, and he's moving when he has to. Garrido would be a tough fight for anybody, I think, in this division. Good shots by McKenna, good left hand in the mix there.
Garrido just getting his head on the shoulder and got through with one there with the right hand. He's thrown a right-hand lead a couple of times, Garrido, just trying to mix things up a little bit, maybe. And as I say, he's been stopped in his tracks a little bit by some of these punches from McKenna, but he's still rolling forward, still moving forward.
He's getting a little bit sloppy in there, but that kind of suits McKenna as well, because he's kind of smothering Garrido's work.
Nice uppercut on the inside there from Garrido. McKenna just giving a bit of ground here, moving back towards that.
He's always looking for a left
corner.
uppercut, McKenna, when he gets in those positions in the corner. Good turn off the ropes there from McKenna.
And they're square onto us exactly there as McKenna was just throwing that 1-2, and that's the kind of distance that he would like to be able to maintain, I think, just with that extra reach advantage, just being able to spear Garrido on the end of it as much as he can.
I think if he could change up the speeds a little bit, change up the speed of his punches a little bit, throw maybe one or two jabs at a slower pace and throw the left hand that gum shield comes out of. I think that's Garrido's gum shield.
Time out. Who's this? You got out.
Well, Marcus McDonald will get this one rinsed off and reinserted. But it's an interesting fight, and it's reaching an interesting stage, I think, because 4 rounds in, Garrido is still looking pretty fresh as he's overhead there in that neutral corner.
They put a lot of work into these rounds.
McKenna's having to work very hard to keep him off as well, isn't he? So stamina here, I think, will be key for both of them.
Maybe McKenna can start to invest in the body as it goes along. It might pay off. It might slow Garrido down a bit.
So 4 rounds down, Tyronne McKenna takes a seat. And it's a tough fight, this. It's a grueling fight. It's hard stuff for both of these two. It's what we wanted to see. It's what we hoped for.
Yeah, it's somewhat I expected. I think Garrido, with his style, anybody at domestic level in England or Ireland, Scotland or Wales, I think he'd give him a hard fight because he's a handful. McKenna's managing him well. McKenna's just moving, like, because of McKenna's style, his height and his stature, it's always going to be this type of fight, you know? He's going to always have to try and manage and kind of lead Garrido around the ring, almost like a matador and a bull kind of a situation. But so far, he's doing it well. As long as he can last the pace, he should go on to win. And like, as long as he doesn't get caught with any silly shots.
Seconds out, round 5.
So into the 5th is scheduled for 10. Tyronne McKenna in the black and green. Reynold Garrido in the brown shorts. Let's go with a big overhand right there, right at the start of the round, which falls short of McKenna, who stings with that southpaw jab. Garrido just chopping down with that right hand, backs McKenna up there, and McKenna just leaning over, a half smile on his face as he moved away off the ropes. Just being made to fall slightly short with that 1-2. Garrido just taking the feet back just a fraction.
Yeah, he has a little bit of subtlety to him, Garrido, with those little half steps just to slip out of the distance of those 1-2s. But now they're trading well. He seems to have gotten seems to be a little bit swinging in the fight here. After that first exchange here on the ropes, when you said McKenna smiled, he seemed to see something in Garrido that there was not, like, the threat had gone. And he kind of fancies his chances now. He's holding his feet a lot more and trying to trade with Garrido. So this could be a big round in the fight.
Garrido just a bit off balance there as he came forward in behind the jab, overbalanced, and McKenna didn't quite capitalise on it. A smearing left hand there from Garrido just clipped the chin of McKenna, who replies with a really good body shot.
Lovely counter punch from McKenna there. Slipped under one, landed, and slipped on the other, and landed to the body again. I would like to see... McKenna seems to throw a 1-2. That seems to be his default punch. When he gets out range, he just throws a long 1-2. I would like to maybe change it up with a left hand right hook, or maybe start to the body and finish on the head. Because I think Garrido's seeing those punches coming. You see 1-2, 1-2 always. You know? Just a little bit more variety. There's the mouthpiece again.
Well, Marcus McDonald just telling Tyronne McKenna that he needs to keep that in his mouth. The referee will show a degree of leniency with this. It's not as strict as it is in amateur boxing, for example, where if it comes out too often, then you do get punished. But he just needs to bite down on it and keep it in the mouth there, McKenna.
Back to the 1-2 from McKenna. They're effective and they're landing, but if he changes it up a little bit, just so Garrido's not seeing the same thing all the time, it might have a better effect. Just that little break from the mouthpiece is giving Garrido a new lease of life, and he's coming on with more momentum now.
Garrido just letting his hands go, but McKenna there just, again, moving.
Slipping
that
and
left eye is
well.
not exactly closing there for McKenna, but you can tell that there's been a bit of damage done to it.
That was nice work from McKenna. Landed 2 punches, landed an uppercut and slipped out at a distance and turned his man. He's boxing well now, McKenna.
That was good foot movement from him again there as he just pivoted around that front foot towards the closing stages of the 5th round, picking up towards the halfway stage of the fight. Good heavy left hand there, landed by McKenna as we head up to the belt.
It's an excellent fight. Although I have McKenna winning all the rounds, most of the rounds, if not all of them, there's never not been an easy round for him in this whole fight, and Garrido's really bringing it to him. Good work from McKenna here. You can see he's just backing off, boxing on the back foot, landing to head and body.
You know, just when you look at double jab's going to keep him off every time, isn't it? Every time he comes, double jab backhand. Meet him with it. Just meet him with it.
Right hook over the top is what Danny Vaughan is asking for there. Garrido has stayed on his feet between rounds.
Seconds out, round 6.
So into the second half, the schedule for 10. It's been entertaining already, and I wouldn't disagree with what you said there, Andy, about McKenna winning all of these rounds, but Garrido has been certainly competitive in all of them, and he's still going after McKenna here, very much so at the start of this 6th round, but it's not all that calculated.
Good
He was almost running across the ring after him at one stage.
Yeah, I think Garrido might be holding back a little bit. Maybe it's his strategy to come on late in the fight. There's the mouthpiece, Garrido's mouthpiece.
Well, this is happening quite regularly. The first couple of times it was McKenna, this time it's Garrido. And just have a look at that left eye of McKenna over on the far side there, Andy. We can see it fairly
It's nasty,
well.
but I don't think there's any danger to the fight, or to the fight being stopped anyway. It's nasty, but I think Jumbo in the corner is doing a good work to come on. Good defense there from McKenna. Just rolled those punches on the gloves. Comes back with a double jab left hand himself. It's here where he needs to be effective, McKenna, when he's in the centre of the ring and he's at range. And he is being effective. But I think both guys may be feeling the pace of the fight. They've put in a lot of work, invested a lot in the early rounds.
It wouldn't be surprising if that was the case. As you say, it's been sort of a high tempo. This has been a lot of punches thrown, and most of them are connected with something.
Not only that, there was certainly an emotional involvement as well. There seemed to be a bit of spite between the two fighters early on, and seemed to punch that out of themselves. Good punch from Garrido there, and another one.
Well, just cuffed with that left hand high on the head, and then stooped him with a right to the body. He still seems fresh. He just held back on the right hand there.
I think he's the type of guy who could fight all day. I think he finds it. He seems to be having fun in there. But McKenna could be making more of these opportunities now, where it's at long range. Showing a good variety of punches, McKenna. Trying to change it up, looking for the angles. Lands a good left hand.
Looking for that right hook there, McKenna didn't land it. A left had just landed from Garrido before that. Every now and again when he throws that jab, Garrido, he gets a little bit kind of careless with it, and the weight comes forward and he topples over the front foot, and McKenna really... He was wide open for a left hand, but he didn't manage to deliver it. Nice solid punches there again from McKenna.
And good defense to slip out of the way. McKenna seems to be trying to slow the pace a little bit. Maybe he's looking for that right hook.
Looking for that backhand again, and the gum shield has come out right at the very end of the round here, and it's the third time this.
It's completely accidental. It's completely accidental. Yeah. There might be a warning from McKenna if it happens again. I'm sure he'll get a stern word this time from the referee.
Third and final time was the comment there from Marcus McDonnell as we head towards the end of the round, just a couple more seconds.
Good round for McKenna again. As I said, he's winning them, but he has to fight for it. He has to earn every one.
Really, really well. You show me everything what you've got here now, and that's what we needed to do. The brain's going to win this fight, nothing else. This kid will just keep coming. You know what he's like. Okay, swallow this now. Okay, I want to see you with that right hook again, because you're getting the reaction from one minute. Now it's time to start getting a little bit of
The brains will win the fight. This is the words from Danny Gaffon in the corner. And it's good work here from McKenna at long range. Using the jab to set up the left hand. And he's changing left hand from a straight left hand sometimes to a little uppercut.
And move, yeah.
Get a look at the eye there. Doesn't seem to be that bad.
You know, you're too clever for this fella. Come on, breathe now. Look, you're going to do now. You're boxing really well. I want to see you behind that jab all the time. Come on. All the time.
Corner, 10 seconds.
It's a fast one. Don't know that. Put him on. Let's go.
Seconds out, round 7.
Kenna just falling slightly short with the jab, and then the big overhand right came in from Garrido, and Gumshield's come out again. It's Garrido's this time, and anything you can do, I can do as well. It's pretty unusual, this, to be honest, for the Gumshield to come out quite so often from both fighters, but Marcus McDonald has given him the same kind of pep talk. That's the second time for him. It's the third.
He's doing well to keep count.
McKenna,
the referee.
He is. He is.
Nice boxing from McKenna here. Classical boxing. He looks like an old-time fighter you might see in black and white, you know, in video. Just throwing out the jab and turning his man. Good hook. And turned his man, turned Garrido. But back straight into the corner again.
It's a solid punch that from McKenna. You could almost feel the weight of it down here as it collided with the side of his head, pretty much slap bang on the ear. But Garrido again just keeps coming forward, trying to tuck up, trying to stay organised, stay compact, and just throws that right on the inside himself. But nothing that he's managed to find McKenna with has caused him any problems so far. You're beating him to everything here, and that's what Danny Vaughan was saying from the corner away on the far side of the ring.
He just bowls forward, Garrido, at all times, and he's trying to force McKenna to work in order to make him tired, make McKenna tired, and also try to catch him in between punches, you know? It's quite effective, and it's a nightmare to box against. McKenna's doing really well to deal with it here.
A bit of variety there from McKenna.
It might just be the time now where McKenna could tie up, clinch, and just break Garrido's momentum, walking back into the corner. Just small little things like that that you can pick up. Now he ties up, and he walks him back. Very good.
Big solid left to the body there from McKenna, and again, and then he switches upstairs with the left hand, and he's really putting something into this in this round. He's really trying to put a dent in Garrido here.
He's the one trying to walk forward now. Great body shots from McKenna. You can really hear them echoing around the ring. He's decided he can't hurt Garrido to the head, so he's going to the body.
It certainly looks that way. Garrido
He might drop Garrido's hands. You know, he's got such a high guard. If he goes to the body, might make him drop his hands and expose his chin a little bit more.
Nice 1-2 again there from McKenna, mostly taken on the gloves there from Garrido, who just quite clumsily stepped forward and then looked to pump his arms on the inside.
Excellent round of boxing there from both men. Great action. It's a real shame this fight's not on TV because it's an excellent fight. And both men are doing themselves a credit here.
Good amateur McKenna as well, 7 Irish titles, boxing out of the Oliver Plunkett gym under Patsy McAllister, went to World and European Youth Championships.
Allez, fais-toi plaisir. Allez, Renal. Allez, 8, 9, 10, 3 rouges. 3 rouges.
Left to stay on his feet in between rounds every time so far, Ronald Garrido.
10 seconds.
Nice and fast.
Seconds out. Round 8.
What would you like to see McKenna do in these final few rounds? It's not that the threat from Garrido is now extinct. He's still in there, he's still live, he's still throwing. But McKenna is bossing this and has been from the start, to be honest, but more and more so in the last couple of rounds. As you said, he went to the body in that last round because going to the head hasn't proved to be a showstopper just yet. Should he put his foot down in these last few rounds and really try and get him out of there, or just box them?
I think he still has to be careful. I think Garrido's still dangerous. And I think he's doing a great job. I think he's doing exactly the right thing. He's holding his feet when he wants to, letting his punches go at long range. And he's managing him when he's back to the rope. He's managing Garrido when he's got his back to the rope. A good right hook in the mix there. He's tying up. He's looking very seasoned now, McKenna. You know, he's actually grown as this fight's continued. And he's learned, as the fight's developed, he's learned how to deal with Garrido's style as the rounds gone by. Good body shots, mixing from head to body from McKenna.
Trying to lead with a right uppercut there, Garrido didn't quite work, and throws a right-hand lead right above us. He just manages to push McKenna back a bit, who possibly was trying to not quite take a breather there. The leather was flying, but he just doesn't seem overly concerned about what's coming back in the opposite direction.
When they're at this close range, very close, it's hard for McKenna to get any punches or leverage on his punch because his arms are so long. It suits Garrido. This kind of range right here, what we're seeing.
And it's just that little half step back there, wasn't it, from McKenna, that did just give him just enough room.
McKenna better just be careful not to punch himself out here, or just stand square and punch square. Because Garrido's always looking to one of those long overhand clubbing punches. They're talking about quality from the corner of McKenna, and that's really what he needs to do. He needs to separate himself from Garrido. If he stays like this, him and Garrido are at the same level. And what separated him so far throughout this fight has been the quality of punching, movement, and intelligence from McKenna. And he needs to keep that up, not get lazy, stay focused, keep his concentration. Round 8, round 9, it's coming to the end of the fight, but it's not the actual end of the fight. And it's very easy to have a lapse in concentration. So he needs to be concentrated now and stay disciplined and stay on focus on what he's been told to do and what he's trained to do for this bout.
Just trying to pin the right arm of Garrido there as they were on the ropes over on the
He's getting dragged into a brawl, especially this round anyway.
Good left hand there from McKenna right towards the end of the round. We could see the head of Garrido just snap back there as that landed.
It's always the quality. It's the quality that separates them. You can hear from Danny Vaughan in the corner, quality, and it's the quality that's separating them. McKenna's obviously a better amateur, better pedigree.
Okay, you got to give me
It's the quality that's separating.
Give me the 6 minutes of your life.
Well, there's been a big spillage over in the Garrido corner. They've dropped the bucket, so the canvas is absolutely flooded at the minute.
Might be tactical. They might want a little break. Might want to try and buy a bit of time.
A novel way of going about it. And it's just been a really good fight to watch, hasn't it? You see some of this action from the previous round, and really, you could delve into this fight for any kind of 20-second nugget and pull out anything you found, and it's just been really
It's a classic match.
stuff from both of them.
A brawler against the boxer, and both men don't want to give an inch. Both men have a lot to prove. Garrido's come here to win. He's not an opponent. He's not a journeyman. He's a live fighter, and he wants to win.
Seconds out, round 9.
Well, both fighters ordered back to the neutral corners. Garrido's just trying to dry off the soles of his boots there. It was a total accident, but the entire bucket, ice, everything went all over the canvas in that red corner, and it will have to be dried off to Marcus McDonald's satisfaction before we're going to be able to continue. So everything's